All right, everyone, welcome. Let's get right to it. In any crisis, the single most critical resource you can have isn't food, it isn't water, it's not shelter, it's information. You know why? Because without good information, you can't find any of the others. So today, we're going to build the architecture to make sure you are never, ever without it. You know, a lot of people think that being prepared just means having the latest smartphone with 5G. But honestly, that's a trap. The problem isn't about the quality of our tech, it's our complete, total reliance on a single, incredibly fragile system to deliver it. Look at this. This is how most people operate. It's a single point of failure. All your information comes from your phone, which relies on the internet. And when that internet fails, your information doesn't just, slow down, it stops, cold, instantly. You go from knowing everything to being completely blind. What we're going to build is a layered architecture, a system with backups, with redundancy. And this is exactly why it's so critical. In a situation that's changing by the minute, think about a wildfire, a flood, some kind of civil unrest, making a decision based on 6-hour-old data is absolutely catastrophic. The road that was cleared this morning could be a death trap this afternoon. Stale information leads to fatal mistakes. It's that simple. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with our first and most fundamental layer. This is the foundation, right? This is the one that works when absolutely everything else is dead. Simple, reliable, broadcast radio. This little device right here, a battery-powered AM/FM radio, it's the one thing that is almost always missing from a modern home or a dorm room. And yet, it's the single most essential tool you can have in a disaster. It is literally the bedrock of civilian information systems, and for a very good reason. See, this whole system is designed to work when everything else fails. It's not an accident. Broadcast towers, they have their own independent power sources. They've got backup generators, batteries. And AM signals in particular are just built for this kind of work. They travel much farther, and they can penetrate buildings way better than FM, which is why they carry the most critical emergency broadcasts. So think of it like this. You've got two key tools in this layer. Your AM/FM radio tells you what's happening right here, in your city, in your region. It gives you those local emergency broadcasts. But shortwave radio, that gives you the big picture. It pulls in signals from all over the world, international broadcasters, giving you a global and often an uncensored perspective on what's really going on. And this isn't just a theory. This is a critical lesson pulled directly from history. During the prolonged sieges in places like Sarajevo and Grozny, the local media was either destroyed or taken over. It was shortwave radio that gave civilians the truth about what was happening in the wider world. For them, it was a literal lifeline to reality. Okay, now let's move on to our second layer. For this to work, we have to completely reframe how you think about your phone. In a real crisis, it is not a communication device. It is an offline library. I want this to really sink in. Anything that's on the cloud, anything you have to stream or access online, you don't own it. You're just borrowing it. The only information you truly own in a grid-down crisis is what you have already downloaded and saved to your device. So here's your homework for tonight. And I'm serious, this is not optional. You need to download your regional maps for offline use. Say first aid guides, important contacts, copies of your documents. Then, and this is the most important part, put your phone in airplane mode and try to open every single file. If you can't open it, it's useless. Do this drill tonight. And then do it again every week, because updates can break things. You have to verify your archive regularly. Our final layer, well, it's easily the most powerful. Here, we're moving beyond technology completely and into the world of human intelligence. This is the oldest and by far the most resilient information system that's ever existed. This person, this isn't just someone you call to say, I'm okay. No. They are your intelligence asset. They are outside the chaos. They have full access to the internet, to international news. Think of it this way. They can see the entire chessboard while you can only see the one square you're standing on. And the crucial point here, the part everyone misses, is that you have to brief them before the crisis hits. They need to know what specific information you're going to need them to track for you. That way, when you finally get a single text message through, the reply isn't, oh my gosh, are you okay? It's, Route 80 is closed. The border crossing at Eagle Pass is open. The National Guard is staged at the stadium. Actionable intelligence. And that brings us to our final, most immediate, and honestly most valuable source of information, the people physically around you. Your neighbor who just came back from the store. The family that's sheltering with you. They have seen things you haven't. They carry real-time ground truth intelligence. But, and this is a big but, this information, while it's the most current, is also the most variable. It can be colored by fear, by rumor, by simple misinterpretation. A single person's account is just a report. It's a data point, but it's not yet something you can act on. So this is how you make it actionable. You triangulate. It's a classic intelligence technique. When three separate people who haven't spoken to each other tell you the exact same thing, that the bridge is out, that the shelter is full, that is when a report becomes intelligence. Now you can act on it. You can even practice this. Get some friends together, run a scenario, see who can gather and confirm a piece of local intel the fastest. Okay, let's put it all together. We're going to synthesize all these layers into a single resilient system, a system that has no single point of failure. This table right here, this is your study guide. It shows you exactly why each of these layers matters. The AM/FM radio tells you which local roads are still open. Shortwave gives you that big picture context. Your offline maps let you navigate when there's no cell service. Your contact gives you that critical overhead view. And human intel, that lets you make the immediate tactical decisions that save lives. Each one serves a unique and absolutely critical function. So here's your shopping list. It's simple, it's affordable, a basic AM/FM radio, you can find ones with shortwave built right in, and batteries. That's it. Get them this week. And a pro tip, install one set of batteries and then tape the spares directly to the back of the radio so they never, ever get separated. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Think of it as your final exam, and it starts the moment you walk out of this room. If the power grid and the internet went down tonight for good, how many of these 5 methods, AM/FM, shortwave, your offline archives, your area contact, and human intel, are you actually capable of using right now? Be honest with yourself. That number, whether it's 0 or 3 or 5, that is your current information resilience score. That's your starting point. Your assignment is to build out the other layers, to construct this architecture before you need it. Because once the feed goes dark, you can only use what you've already built. Class dismissed.